Do you believe Arch Manning is a better quarterback than Marcel Reed?
This is a hard one for me to like. I think Reed has been more consistent this year, I think is a way to say it. But I also think you see the flaws that Marcel Reed still has. Against South Carolina, he threw a couple of interceptions and wanted to throw 5. Right, there were like 5 or 6 interceptable balls in that game that just didn't get picked off in that first half. I think the ceiling as an elite quarterback with Arch is probably higher. Right, I think that is, we see what Arch can do on downfield passes. We've seen Arch kind of growing into that. But I do want to say that, like, Marcel Reed is a guy who, you know, when this A&M team gets backed into a corner, they rally around him. He's a guy who, you know, I think where Arch Manning is a threat with his feet, like Marcel Reed is a legitimate weapon with his feet. And so I think it's hard to say who's a better quarterback, like from quarterbacking sake, probably Arch Manning, but like that's not meant to be a knock on Marcel Reed, because I would take Marcel Reed heartbeat. Like I think that guy is an elite kind of playmaker. I think he's going to be one of the elite guys in the SEC for the next at least year, if not 2 years. But I think, again, this is probably a homer take. It is what it is. But like when you look at statistics, they're not too far apart. And I think when you look at what Arch can do down the field versus what Marcel Reed can do down the field, I think that's probably why I lean Arch.
No, I think that's completely fair. I would say I was slightly higher than most people on Marcel Reed. I had him, like I said, 6th or 7th preseason in the SEC department. So, and I like him. I think he's a good, solid quarterback. But Texas Homer posted this today, and I think it's super interesting stat. So Arch Manning has an O-line with the 115th pressure rate. Reed's offensive line is 24th. Arch Manning's run game is 101st in yards per carry. Reed's game is 26th. So Marcel Reed has a lot of help around him. That doesn't make him a worse player. This is the thing. Like I heard this actually pretty recently. Like, would you knock Joe Burrow for having Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson? No, because I watched with my eyes and I saw where the ball placement was with those guys, and it was basically perfect. He basically handed them the football where they needed it to be. And I think Marcel Reed, obviously, he's not that, but he's a good, capable quarterback who does a lot of work when the play breaks down. He's able to escape and make plays with his legs. I would say Arch Manning is a more physical runner. Marcel Reed is a more athletic type of runner, make guys miss a little bit more. I think Arch Manning is probably better with the deep ball, but I think Marcel Reed might be better with like the short game. And that we've seen Arch Manning miss the short game consistently. He missed another one versus Arkansas where it's a mesh concept and he just misses. That is, for whatever reason, that is the one route he does not hit. If it's within 3 to 4 yards of the line of scrimmage right in front of his face, he throws a rocket. And I don't know why. It's just something in his brain that makes him do that, and it's a rocket every time.
And it's always going left to right, which is the weird thing. I think I don't know if I've seen him go miss it right to left, but left to right. For some reason, he can't hit it.
The only one, you're right. The only one I can think of going right was the Ryan Wingo one versus Ohio State. That was the only one where it was out in front of Ryan Wingo. But yeah, most of it is left to right. And I don't know why that is, but Marcel Reed hits those layups better than Arch Manning does. But Arch Manning hits the downfield. I think they're pretty similar in their intermediate game. I think, honestly, guys, when you're ranking, it always pisses people off because let's say I have Arch Manning is the 4th best quarterback, and then Marcel Reed is the 5th. I just think they're in the same tier at this point as quarterback. I would put them in the same tier. How you want to order them in that tier is up to you. But in my opinion, in the tier 1 of the SEC quarterbacks, I only have 2 guys. I have Ty Simpson. I have Gunnar Stockton. I think Arch Manning or I'd probably have Diego Pavia up there too in tier 1. But then tier 2, I think it's, that's the thing. I'm a maybe on that. Tier 2, I think it's Arch Manning, Marcel Reed, Joey Aguilar at Tennessee. If you want to put Diego Pavia, he's like my teetering guy. If you want to throw him in tier 1, tier 2, I don't care, but he's somewhere in there. So I think they're both really solid options. Do I think Arch Manning has higher potential than Marcel Reed? Yes, because of the wow throws. The throw versus Oklahoma out of his own end zone. The throw to Ohio State in cover 2, beating the safety there with the ball with Jack Endries. Those type of throws, I don't think Marcel Reed is capable of, and he may not be capable of because there's not many guys capable of. So I would take Arch Manning, but I do think it's a real and honest discussion you can have.
Yeah, I think it's fair. And again, I like your tiers discussion because I think, neither of these guys I would kick out of bed, right? I would love to have either of these guys. And I think Marcel Reed has benefited from having a better supporting staff, or at least a more consistent supporting staff when it comes to offensive line, when it comes to the running backs. I think especially early on, I think A&M's wide receivers were heads and shoulders above where Texas's was. And I think if either of those guys is on Texas's squad, they're probably wide receiver 1 at this point. It's like, I think Marcel Reed and Arch Manning are at similar places, and I think Marcel Reed has had the benefit, and this is not a shot at Marcel Reed. A&M is a much better constructed team than Texas is right now. I don't feel bad saying about that. Their offensive line is better constructed. Their wide receiver room is better constructed. Their running backs, obviously better constructed. Like, that to me is the differentiator between the two at this point. Marcel Reed is a really good quarterback that also benefits from having an elite set of supporting players in that offense.
I think expectations are a real thing too, guys. When you set Arch Manning's expectations through the roof and he doesn't meet them, people think he's terrible. No, that just doesn't mean he's terrible. It just means you gave him too high of expectations. He's still, like, if you look at quarterbacks across the country and use your eyes and statistics, he's a top 15 quarterback in the sport right now. I fully believe that. But you guys and everyone that said this said, oh, he's the best quarterback since Tim Tebow. He's the best quarterback since Joe Burrow. He's the best quarterback since he barely played, and you put him on his pedestal. And then when he doesn't meet those expectations, which even if he was playing 20 to 25% better than he is now, he still wouldn't have met the expectations that you placed before him, then he's bad. And then Marcel Reed is the opposite end, where everyone thought, oh, he's not that good, and then he plays better than that. Oh my God, he's the best thing ever. He's going to be a Heisman winner, It's all about expectations. And I think we set Marcel Reed's too low, and I think we set Arch Manning's way too high, and now they're kind of met in the middle now, both of them.
I just pulled up their stats. They are 22 and 23 in total yardage. They again Arch has 23 touchdowns, Marcel Reed has 25. Arch has 7 interceptions, Marcel Reed has 8. 251.2 yards per game for Arch, 250.2, literally a 1 yard difference, a 1% difference in their completion percentage. They're effectively the same quarterback at this point when it comes to statistics.
But guess what? One's talking about Heisman and one's talking about being the biggest bust ever. Guys, the world around you sets your expectations and you follow it. Look at the stats sometimes, do your own research, because these guys are the exact same player, basically. I mean, the stats literally said they're the exact same player.
Yeah. It's again, expectations are the world that we build for ourselves. And again, Arch Manning was disappointing to start the year, but now he's growing into what we thought he would be. And he's, again, a top 25, I think 22 and 23, they're ranked in those statistics. So, like, good. They're both good quarterbacks.
Yeah. Again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Let us know who you think's better, whether you're a Texas A&M, Texas fan, let us know that as well. Again, hit the like button, subscribe. We really appreciate it.